All right, welcome in everyone. It is Tuesday, February 24th. This is the SharpMoney live stream sponsored by NoVig. Tonight we have myself and Jay's plays. No Sigma tonight. That means probably a little bit less industry news. But there's a couple things I want to talk about we'll get into. But anyway, this is sponsored by NoVig. If you guys are unfamiliar with NoVig, you can actually go to our partners page on our website and you can see that the NoVig kind of promo that we have running is up on the website. And basically what it allows you to do is deposit $900 and get $100 for free if you sign up using our link and the promo code SharpMoney. So if you don't know what NoVig is, it's a peer-to-peer betting exchange, very similar to the prediction markets, but it operates as a sweepstakes model. So always great prices on NoVig. I think probably the best prices in the entire market right now. Most of their lines close within 1 cent. So really good stuff there. Jay, what is going on with you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining in. Always a pleasure to be here every Tuesday. Try to make what I can. I wasn't able to make it last week, so glad to be here. Super excited for the upcoming future. SharpMoney has just had some very big updates. Very interested to get into it. Excited. I hope everybody is ready to have a good night.
Dude, the updates that we have rolled out in the past couple of days are insane. I actually, our last meeting, I had to take notes of what the hell we updated because there was so much stuff that Adam worked into this last update. We got Jason in the chat. We got Amber, CJ. Congratulations on full time. Yes, thank you. We'll get into that as well. For those that don't know, I put in my 2-week notice at my full-time job. And I'm going full-time for SharpMoney, so really excited about that. We'll talk about what that means for SharpMoney going forward, what that means for myself. I just posted a YouTube video about it, kind of more of a personal video than I've ever really posted. Kind of the rationale there is that you guys are going to start to see my face a lot more, so we might as well get to know each other on a more personal level. So, did you happen to have a chance to watch that, Jay?
Yeah, if you guys have not checked out that video yet and you really want to get to know Robbie or Closing Dimes, that video is the perfect video to check it out. It really shows you the truth of us and SharpMoney and Robbie and just kind of how we all started out, how we came about, and just we're very happy to be here and the situation that we're in. And I just want to say, Robbie, to you, congratulations. I'm not there yet, but you have been grinding and crushing it and always showing your face. Thank you, dude.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, man.
Like I said in the video, this was every single one of us got us to the point where we are today. So without any one of us, we wouldn't be where we are. And we all know that. We're a great team. Everyone loves working with each other and appreciates what everyone does. So that's what makes it so good, is that we work so good together. And it's kind of funny. Me and Jay have met in person, but I have not met Adam or Jeff in person before, which is kind of funny because Jeff and Adam have met, but we are all over the place. I'm from Massachusetts. Jay's from Louisiana. Adam is from Chicago, and Jeff is from Michigan. So kind of all over the map. We're going to get together sooner or later. I think I'm going to try to go to Bet Bash this year. I don't know if you've talked to your family about that situation, but what are the chances that you can go to that this year?
Yeah, I think the chances are good that I can go there. Job-wise, I'm in a pretty good position with my job. I could find the time off. I think I'll be able to go there. I will say, I'm kind of hoping for some things to happen with my family, maybe expand or something, who knows. But if the chance is there and and everybody's headed there. I would love to make it the Bet Bash. We could even have like a vlog on YouTube. We could upload a whole vlog and Bet Bash. That would be pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, we could definitely make some fun out of it. I mean, you're the closest one. How long is the flight to Vegas, you think? Probably a few hours for you?
The flight's probably like 6 hours. I know a
Is
couple
it
people
really
who
that
go
far?
there.
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
miscalculating it, but
it's a pretty far drive too. It's a
yeah,
couple days worth of driving. I know a few people who drove to Arizona, and that
damn.
was
Yeah.
like two days worth.
Yeah, that's miserable. I don't think I've driven more than 6 hours anywhere in like a long ass time.
Oh, it's terrible. I hate it. I just drove to Tennessee earlier this year, and it was too long. Too long.
So all right. So the only industry news I have is kind of a big one. It's Underdog changing their their payouts for their 2-man and 3-man layouts. And I know, Jay, you're not really familiar with DFS, but the whole thing with DFS, and honestly, kind of why I haven't really attacked it, is because you need to build like 5 or 6 leg slips to really have an edge. I think if you built a 5 or 6 leg slip, it would make the payout amount about minus 122, and that's kind of like per leg, and that's kind of where you could find value. But needing to find 5 legs that were better than minus 122 was kind of difficult, so I never got into it. But they changed the new payout system to make a 2 or 3 leg parlay. I believe it's like minus 116 per leg. So the opportunity to find some massive EV on Underdog is huge, which we don't have up yet. But actually, before we launched this, I was building a DFS product, so I never got to really finish it. But I would love to do that, especially with Underdog changing their payouts, which is just crazy. I don't know if Prize Picks will follow or Sleeper, but Underdog definitely separating themselves from the market there.
Yeah, it almost seems like Sleeper and Prize Picks would have to follow suit here. That would make Underdog a clear winner. I think that's great. And yeah, you mentioned before, you guys don't even know, but Robbie just tries to build products every single day. So he's looked into the DFS market, and maybe we could have something come to the Discord that would be beneficial for you guys that are doing fantasy. I
Yeah.
personally don't have any experience in it. I don't have access to it, so I kind of just stay out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the other owner's jobs to keep me on track and to shut down every bad idea I have. Let's talk about some of the recent updates. So there's like 4 or 5 updates to talk about. So Jay, why don't you take what's your favorite update that we've added in the last like 2 days?
Personally, I love to see the circle limits. I kind of we talked over this not that long ago, but just being able to see the circle limits and how circa moves and how circa moves its price compared to its limit. You will see pinnacles a lot more all over the place. Pinnacle, they move their limit a lot more often. They move their line a lot more often. You just kind of see pinnacle reacts easier. I take more of a circa move with a little bit more grain of salt. It's more like whenever circa moves, I'm like, okay, circa is moving. It's not they're usually like 110 on both sides. So whenever you see circa move, I look at it like it's a little bit more of a real deal. And then to see them move on top of their limits now is just I look at it like it's a little bit better than Pinnacle. I know they don't move as much, so whenever I do see them move, I'm like, I got to get on it.
Yeah, like before we had the circa limits, like you would see circa move and you didn't really know why they're moving. But when you see it with a limit increase now, it's like a slam dunk play. And we were kind of talking about, what's the difference between circa limits and pinnacle limits, and talking about like what their ceiling is. And pretty like I've seen a lot. I would say like 75% of the time, Pinnacle does have the higher limits, but I've seen circa go way above too. So like here's an example right here. Suns money line against the Celtics tonight. I mean, Circa just got to $3,000 limits, and they have this priced at plus 180 for the Suns money line. You can get it at plus 190 on Polymarket. So if we add in Pinnacle limits, we see that Pinnacle has just gone from $2,000 limits up to $12,000 very quickly. So now if I bring in the Pinnacle price, it's going to paint a pretty good picture here, where we see pretty much a drop on this first limit increase. And then when the market moves to $12,000 limits, this kind of stables out. You could say Pinnacle maybe goes from 189 over to 191. So not a big move by Pinnacle, after hitting these massive limits, Circa has it priced a little bit lower than Pinnacle. And then we can work in bookmaker odds as well, which are actually even below Circa. So this is a line that I would probably take right now. Most of the market dropped when we saw that limit increase, and we have a three-way DVIG here. I mean, these prices have been stable since about 2:30 this afternoon. So for me, I mean, you got, what do we got, like almost 5 hours of these prices being stable. I would probably take this one in poly market.
Yeah. Um, like Jason said, I did mention this before. So Jason said I like Circa for men's college basketball. That was another thing too. Because right there you saw that Pinnacle was much higher. I was not trying to discredit Pinnacle. Pinnacle is still great. But for college, I do like to see Circa over Pinnacle. I will say that.
Well, here's a great example, Jay. You got Circa limits much higher than Pinnacle limits here. Tennessee money line.
Yeah, Pinnacle, their limits never seem to get up to Circa in college, and that's kind of what I've been looking into. I haven't found anything yet. I've just been tracking and just seeing how they operate. And also, Alan, thank you for joining in. I'm usually here on the Tuesday streams, but the last two I had to miss due to some personal problems. But I'm back here. Hope to see you every Tuesday.
Yeah, this Tuesday stream is kind of whoever's around joins in. I kind of lock it down, and I try to make sure that I'm on every time. But we get Jay and Adam here. Adam's a busy man, so he's tough to to nail down. But it's a pleasure when he does, because he talks about the industry news a lot more than us. Yeah. So Alan. So yeah, I mean, I put in my 2 weeks, so I still have 2 long ass weeks before I can actually be full time, which kind of sucks. But I do have 2 vacation days that I need to use. My boss is cool with me taking them the last 2 weeks, so that'll be good at least. But I can't really completely dive in for another 2 weeks. I'm gonna have some really bad like senioritis at work, like knowing I'm not gonna be there the next 2 weeks. Like I don't really care too much.
No, I completely understand that. Given your 2 weeks is pretty hard. You're probably checked out pretty early. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Jay asked me this question too, but like, how did my boss take it? And I've been working that job for, this will be like my 8th year coming up in like July. And the other guy, my boss now, I worked with him for like 2 or 3 years before he moved up. So I've worked with him for pretty much 8 years straight. So he's one of my good friends, and he kind of knew this was coming one day. So he was happy for me, but also like damn, at the same time, because we've been working together for so long. But
yeah, bittersweet.
it is, yeah.
Matt has a good question, especially now that going into more of the updates, which this could play right into the player prop update. He asked, "What are the 3 books you guys DVig to for player props on NBA and NHL?" I'm kind of curious, what do you guys use? If some of y'all can answer in the questions, just curious to see what you guys use. Personally, for NBA, I lean a little bit more into FanDuel if I was DVigging to the market. I uh I also like to wait a little bit closer to game time. You definitely want to wait for confirmed lineups unless you get a really good edge. Of course, the more books, the better you feel. But personally, if you have the alpha plan, well, I'm using the alpha plan, so I will be sticking my props to Signal. Signal has just been crushing it for me, so that's probably where I'm going to stick most of my props until MLB comes around.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of and I'll make a video on this, but we've had a lot of questions on. Right now, our DVIG is for props. It's for Circa or Pinnacle. We don't have bookmaker player prop lines, so we can't use them as a DVIG. But you're pretty much looking for just good line movement. You want to look for stale markets. You want to look for books kind of being on an island. Like if I see an EV play and it has value to like 4 retail books, then it's like, all right, maybe that's not a good play because the whole market's kind of sitting there. But if you see a play where there's 1 book on an island, those are the plays that I want to hit. Brayton said that. So yeah, you've been crushing it, Jay, with Signal, because Braxton can't buy a win to save his life.
Yeah, I saw that. I've been waiting for you to turn a profit on Signal. Yeah, Signal has been doing fairly well for me. It came out super hot, but then I went cold for a little bit, and the the main lines really carried me. But Signal has been crushing FanDuel for me again. My DraftKings and MGM are losing, but my those are limited, so the FanDuel's coming out on top.
Yeah. Here's another example of we always talked about Circa being sharper for college U.S. sports because it's a college book where Pinnacle is a Canadian book. So Circa typically takes more action on college sports like college basketball, college football, and whoever takes the highest limits it can be trusted the most. So, for an example, this isn't a huge gap here, but if Circa is taking $10,000 on a bet and Pinnacle is taking $5,000 on a bet, then you want to trust the Circa line a little bit more than the Pinnacle line. So typically, when we're looking at college sports, it does seem like Circa kind of leads the market here, has the higher limit. So Circa's at $5,000 limits for this Florida State money line. I already grabbed this early in the day, so I'm not going to hit it again. But they are at plus 115. So you can trust their odds a little bit more because they're at 5K versus Pinnacle, whose limit is at 3K. But they're pretty much priced exactly the same anyway. So you don't have to weigh one too much more than the other. But a good visual here, and just something I'm noticing is that Circa limits are much higher on the college sports, but the main sports Pinnacle is much higher, and they're just a bigger book. Especially because Circa, you have to be from Nevada to bet on the Circa app, and Pinnacle, I think, like anywhere in Canada, you can use it. So, bigger user base in Canada and on Pinnacle, so they can offer bigger limits for sure.
Yeah, Pinnacle's for sure a lot more popular, a lot more bet on.
Alan has a good question. See the promo for Edge Boost in the partner tab. Is it worth doing the deposit into sports books? What's your take on this thinking? Signing up, just wanted a little more info. Yeah. So number one, it's great if you're going to have a dedicated account for sports betting. If you're going to take it serious, you need a dedicated like debit card account, and that's pretty much what Edge Boost does. But on top of that, if you sign up with our code and our link, you get, I think it's tier 3 you start at.
Yes,
and
tier 3.
That'll earn you 0.35% of every deposit you put into the book. So if you're someone who kind of likes to move your money around a little bit, if you move a few $1,000s a day, I mean, you're talking like $10 a day if you keep moving money. So I know a lot of people that make thousands of dollars just by kind of moving their money around and getting those kind of cash backs when they're rebalancing, all of their sports books. So it's definitely something to look into. Damn, we saw a prop with 3K limits from Pinnacle earlier. That's crazy. I haven't been looking at the prop screen that much, but I didn't think they went much higher than $500.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if that was maybe UFC, possibly, or tennis. Maybe if you count those, I know sometimes those will come in. It might look like a prop because it's on that said player. It's only 2 people, so.
Jay, can you have access to Polymarket, right? But you probably don't. You probably don't have.
So I just got I just received the email the other day about Polymarket talking about I was accepted or something like that. I think I was on a wait list for one of them. I kind of get confused with all of them, but I haven't really gotten into any of it. Have you been using Polymarket?
Yeah, I've been doing really well with it. It's funny. I put in like $1,000, actually 3 times in a row. I lost my first 1,000, lost my second 1,000, and then I was down to like $250 on my third 1,000, and then I ran that account all the way up to it's at like $6,000. Or I had a kind of rough day yesterday. I think it's like 5,500. So yeah, I'm up pretty good on it.
Yeah, man. You're just talking about the depositing and losing. It just reminds me, literally on Tuesday stream, like 3 weeks ago, I was just saying Caesars takes all my money. I deposited 1,000 in.
Gone.
I'm at $62 left. And that's what a $40 limit's on props. They've just been raking my money.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to put any more.
Betting Blueprint, question about the pro subscription. It does give you the prop bets. So I think you might have to reset I think we're kind of having an issue with this, which we'll fix, but it's a bug. I think you need to reset your settings back to default, and then you'll see the prop bets. We're just having an issue with we have some very crazy advanced settings. So you might just have to mess around with it for them to pop up, but you do have access on Pro to all the props.
Yeah. The props were popping up for me at first, but I went ahead and just reset the few settings I did have, and the few filters I had, and it kind of corrected it, and they started to pop up after that.
Miles Bridges is 2K right now. Must be for points. Damn, that's crazy. And yeah, another confirmation was NBA points for 3K. I had to do a double
Sweet.
take. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to pull that up later. Um,
Have you been taking many player props on the
so
EV side or no?
I took a bunch today. I'm kind of curious to see where they're sitting. I already marked them all.
That's the other thing that that's the other thing I'm kind of worried about is whenever I get into taking EV bets and signal bets for player props, if I'm not tagging right away, I'm gonna end up mixing them up. So that's another thing I want to be careful of too.
Dude, these are really good. These are the plays I took on SharpMoney plus EV props, not the signal tool. I got a bunch of those too, but clicking through these, I mean, I got all these on FanDuel. I only bet into FanDuel. So if we go to let me go to FanDuel, I guess. I got 6% edge compared to the FanDuel close here, 4% there, 8% there. And then the rest of these ones are,
What time are you taking these?
I took, I shows you actually, 6 o'clock. All of them,
Oh, so
the
this
board was
morning,
loaded with bets at 6. I just started taking them all.
dude, the
These
board
ones are
was loaded
packed.
every single time I looked earlier.
Yeah. Dude, like these are crazy. Like, and I know Mathwin's actually called out LeBron's over today, but like
Look at that
13% to
13%.
Pinnacle line, like they haven't moved, which scares me. FanDuel's still 112, which I bought it at, but I mean, being that far off from Pinnacle just seems kind of wild.
Yeah, I had a signal bet that moved that big. It was over 5.5 rebounds. I can't think of who it was, but I got it at minus 120 or minus 150, and it's at minus 300 now.
Oh, that one's not good CLV there, but they're getting 11 and a half points. They're up 10. I like that one.
That's the ones we need to hit. Did you happen to grab any soccer this morning? Soccer was doing pretty good for me.
I did not see any soccer.
They came and went pretty fast. I caught them on the limit raise this morning. It was around like 7, 8 a.m.
I mean, there's some soccer right now, for Wednesday and Sunday. Just probably just filter out for today, to be honest. So, all right. So the other setting or the other big update that we had was we added some very advanced settings for pro core, actually for core pro and alpha members, to where you can set like pinnacle limits, EV percentage per sport and market. So, like for an example, for NBA, I can come into the main lines and I can set my points, money lines, and totals thresholds for those. So, if I only want to see main lines for the NBA at +1, maybe just minus odds or something, you could set them there and only see NBA main lines for that. If you want to change the pinnacle limit to a certain number for just NBA main lines, you can change that. So, you can go into each market and break it down. So player props, same thing. You can pick which ones you want to see, and then you can hit the thresholds for those as well. So you can really break it down very deeply, probably deeper than any service that I've seen. You'd be able to break things down. And not only that, but if you want to be a super psycho and you want to break it down per sportsbook, per league, per market, you can do that in the advanced settings page if you have the alpha plan. So let's just say that those settings weren't good enough for you and you wanted to see different EV percentages for different markets on FanDuel versus DraftKings, you can go into FanDuel. You can say, okay, just for FanDuel, I want the NBA main lines for points in this range. So it's like you can go crazy with sports books. And this is really good if you have limits on a lot of books. Like I might want my Fanatics and the score pinnacle limits to be higher, indicating that it's a more liquid market, which means I can probably get more money down than something like FanDuel where I can still actually bet a little bit.
Real quick, certified. Sorry to miss you. We were just in the middle of talking though. Not trying to miss any questions. You guys just see where the pinnacle move the line and take the play. No, I mean yes, that's part of it. It's not that simple. We also like to correlate the pinnacle line movement with the limit. This is one way to kind of get a certified edge. You know, it's a little bit better to see the price drop, whenever you see the limit go up, more money's coming in. And if you see a move, a sharper player could have hit that edge as soon as the limit went up. That way they can get more down.
Yeah, so seeing the pinnacle line move is very important. Like we look at this New Mexico money line play. We see Pinnacle is kind of sitting at this plus 108 number all day, and then I can just really isolate Pinnacle. They're only one of the books that we look at, but we see them drop from plus 108 down to minus 104. So that right there is 12 cents of movement towards the under, especially through the plus 100 range. That sense is very important. So it's a really big drop, and that does mean a lot. This means it's a play I want to get on. Now, like what Jay was saying is, if we saw Pinnacle maybe bump from 3,000 to 5,000 right as that drop happened, that would be even a stronger indicator that sharper money, bigger money was waiting for a limit increase to hit it. But overall, yeah, you would just want to see odds moving downwards of the sharp books, which is Circa, Pinnacle, and Bookmaker. So great looking play here.
Now, you say it's a great looking play, but I'm not too fond of that play just because of where it started out and where it's at now. It kind of technically hasn't really moved at all. So maybe the sharps were correct the sports books were correct on their open. The price action maybe adjusted it just a little bit, but personally, that's not enough move, not enough conviction for me to get into this play.
Yeah, no, that's a good take, and it's a good point to or something to point out is that you'll see all the time that the owners of Sharp Money don't always agree on what bets to take, and we're all profitable in our own way. So it's just interesting. We used to do kind of like a little game show that was bet it or forget it, and we would talk about these kind of confusing charts or charts that could go either way. And a lot of times we did not agree on the plays, but it was a great example of there's different ways to view this. Like this, it's not just like, cut and dry. There's a science to it, and they're like everyone has their own method. So you need to figure out what works for you and go for it. Me personally, like Jay was saying, I like to see the market go lower from the opening spot, but I do respect the most recent information more than the information from this morning. So I do see where you're coming from there. It's a 1% EV play, not even. So I'm not going to fault anyone for passing on this one at all. But something that I'd probably look into just because the most recent movement has been good.
Yeah, so for this one, I'm unsure of the times. I'm not looking at it, but this one could have seen, a lineup confirmation could have made this play a good play, and that's why we all see the drop with no limit increase.
So certified, I usually look at Pinnacle, see where the line is going, and check where the money is for regular games. So when you're checking money, I'm very interested in what you mean by that, because here's the thing. The sharp books that are taking real action, they don't show you like the betting splits, like between how many bets are on one side versus how much money is on the other side. That is retail books showing you those types of things. So if you're on like the Action Network and you're looking at 20% of the wagers are on the Celtics tonight, but 90% of the money is there, that's just retail numbers. Like that is the most useless information you can have. The lines move based on what the sharp books do, not what retail does. And Pinnacle doesn't tell you what percent of their bets they're taking on a certain line, because they move their lines based on those bets. So they wouldn't give away that information. Now, retail books publish that and make it available because it's useless information. It doesn't help anyone betting. It doesn't hurt them at all. So they give it away. And there's a lot of different companies and people that run with those kind of stats. And it's just useless knowledge, in my opinion. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. That's just when I hear someone say, this is where the money is, I usually think they're looking at some type of table like that.
Brayton said, I've actually learned to read the second chart. I was programmed to read the top chart. Yes, guys, I think reading the second chart is very important. I personally want to see both charts to be moving in favor of the bet that I am taking. You will see sometimes that a book is just overcorrecting and the bottom chart might not show in favor. So a line can extend too far and then overcorrect. It might make the odds look like it's going down, but in reality, the actual market trend is going up.
Here's one I'm taking for sure. And this might be controversial because the plays move in the wrong direction all day long until we hit 25K. So I'm going to get this one in, and then we'll talk about it. So Thunder -1.5 plus 114.
Are there certain sports where approach changes from a line movement perspective, or is it universal? That's a pretty good one. Personally, I kind of change per sport. It just kind of determines who I like to see moving more. So for like tennis and soccer, I'm looking for pinnacle. You'll see soccer sometimes we have bookmaker listed, but I'm really looking for the pinnacle move with soccer. Like I mentioned earlier, college, I'm looking for Circa. Circa's the main one that I pay attention to, and then of course if pinnacle is in line. If them two are not agreeing, then I stay away from it. I think the rest of it though is it's pretty universal for me in the other sports. I look at them all like they're the same.
Yeah, I think line movement you view the same, but like the pinnacle limit that you're looking at is different. Like for the NBA, when it comes to pinnacle um, limits, I'm looking for $5,000 on their spreads before I go and bet. So if I see pinnacle move their odds 10 cents in one direction at $2,000 limits, I really don't care that much. If I see them move 10 cents in one direction at $5,000 limits on NBA full game spreads, that's when I attack. And this is different per market. For an example, college basketball full game spreads, I'm looking for $3,000 limits before I justify their move. Anything before those kind of thresholds or cutoffs I have in my head, a lot of the time the market just gets faked in different directions and you can't really trust it. So for me, I have these kind of limit thresholds buried in my head. And this is something that, I'll share better and maybe even like a document that people can look at and like what limits I look for personally. But I think we're pretty much all on board, all the owners at like kind of that limit range because we've talked about it so much. So limits matter. And something like soccer, I think we've all kind of discussed this too, but like any movement from the pinnacle odds, like just bet it. Like I don't care the soccer limits.
Yeah, as long as it's moving in favor, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab it, especially if it's on FanDuel. Those happen to be the best.
Yeah, I don't know. FanDuel just lays some real shitty soccer lines. They just don't care. I don't know.
Rumhead said, let's talk about how to read the second chart for totals. If you want to take that one or if you want to pull up a chart.
Yeah, for sure. I might have to lower my threshold on totals because I don't know if I see one. Or if there's even a total on here right now.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Let's just drop it down to $1,000 penny limits. I could probably also pull up different books.
I'm not seeing any either.
We pull up like Bet Rivers or something that has garbage lines. No totals coming in.
Nothing.
Yeah. All right. No totals right now. NBA would have been a good one to kind of look at totals, but we didn't get any. All right, let me get rid of these sports books now. You know what I did just learn though is that there's a sports book like an hour for me that has a kiosk with Bet Rivers odds. So that's good because we don't have Bet Rivers as a sports book.
They're gonna come walk up to you personally.
I know. I got to stop showing my face when I get recognized over there.
Just real quick for the totals, like somebody mentioned in the chat, the totals, you will notice that the overs, we have always mentioned going down for the odds, but I do want to mention that for overs, as in like an NBA total over, you will notice that you're going to want the second graph to be trending up. This is going to be showing you from, let's say, 212 at the bottom to 220 at the top. So that's how the graph moves. So if you see it going down, that means it's moving in favor of the under. If it's going up, it's moving in favor of the over.
Yeah, it definitely it takes a little bit getting used to, but yeah, you just want to see the number going towards your play, just like you mentioned there. All right, maybe I will kind of skip this one. There are a lot of questions in here, but I might have answered this one, Bet Desk, on kind of when I was talking about the odds movement at the same time with timing of placing the bets. So now that you know I look for a certain pinnacle limit, it also correlates with timing because I know around 8 a.m. Eastern time, NBA spreads typically bump to 5K limits around there. So timing, like until 8 a.m., unless I see something like real weird in the market, I'm waiting for full game spreads. Um, Now that same bump for totals and money lines happens around 8 a.m. also, but that bumps to 3K. So 8 a.m. onwards, I trust like NBA stuff, and that's really early, especially Eastern time. We're talking about 5 a.m. You know, if you're on the West Coast, so it is kind of early in the day. There's no perfect time to bet, but you want to kind of. I think the best time to bet is right after a limit increase happens in the odds move. That's like a clear indicator. Um, but yeah, like a couple hours before game time and when those first limits increase are kind of where I see the best sharp action and the best time to bet.
Yeah, so I'm central, and I personally used to wake up at like 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. central. I used to take some bets between like the 5 to 6:30 a.m. time, but I felt like those bets were coming back on me a good bit, even whenever I was taking them with a nice move down. But once I started waiting to like the 7 a.m. central to like 10 a.m. central, that's whenever I find most of my volume for NBA main lines. Those are the bets that I find always close good for me. So that's usually around the time I start looking. And then signal, I just take those all day. Every chance I get, I'm signal, signal, signal.
Yes, signal is the best. So certified, a little more clarification on what we're looking for from Pinnacle here is we are looking for Pinnacle to move one way and the sports book that we're betting into to be stable. So like this is an example, plus 104 odds. So Pinnacle was at plus 104 at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, Pinnacle moved from plus 104 down to minus 104. So that being said, like Pinnacle moved their number off of plus 104 because they did not want to take any more action at that price. So that means if there's a retail book or poly market, you know, a prediction market that's still taking plus 104, then it's a good price because a sharp book like Pinnacle moved off that number. They didn't want to book any more action there. So we go get that action on a retail book.
Yeah, good
Braden
break.
wants 2 hours of streaming. How about are you home? Hop on the computer, Braden. We'll get you on here.
Yeah, man. It's been a moment since you've popped into the stream, so maybe soon we can get you on. We'll have a special guest. Oh, also the bet desk. About the timing of placing bets. I also love to look for bets right before game time. Within like that 25 to 40 minute window. I don't like to take too close to game time. Anything within like that 15-minute range kind of gets sketchy for me. But usually within that 20 to 40 minute range, that's whenever I look for it.
Certified says, "Damn, it's that easy." Yeah, I mean, that's the software is built to put you on good plays. It finds the books that are lagging, and you just need to be able to quickly read the chart and know what direction the sharp books are moving, and then you can bet it. So we got a ton of video. If this is your first time in here, we got a ton of videos explaining it. But yeah, too much action in his house right now, but he'll jump on soon. Yeah, we'll get on one of these soon. So I got props pulled up, and you're going to see a lot of high EV plays. So I would not recommend just blindly taking all of these. We want to look into the line movement charts and make sure that line movement looks good. So I want to see like some pretty clear indicators that the line is moving a certain way. This one, like, it's not terrible. You got a 7% edge. You know, the score is very weak. FanDuel, another like semi-sharp book, is showing slight value, but it's only plus 123. So like I would not take this one on FanDuel, but I would definitely consider it at plus 135 on ESPN. You know, I might as well just grab it for $10, but this is one I would take just because they're so far off from the market. And I got $10 max bets here, so I'm just gonna throw in 10.
Yeah, that is the same exact thing that I do.
And once you log in, the links work pretty damn quick. So then it's worth betting $10 a play. But this first login is kind
Let's
of a
see.
bitch.
Dr. Football Head, he said, because Signal is its own algo, what EV percents are you looking for? So whenever I'm paying attention to Signal, um, I'm not as worried about the EV percentage as I am an actual EV bet that you will find mixed in with the main lines. Those bets are EV strictly to the market, and that's what I'd be looking for is the line movement. But on Signal, I don't really have a minimum EV percent. I kind of just fire away at everything.
So let me do. This is a perfect time to explain Signal a little bit here. But yeah, it's a proprietary system that identifies right now NBA player props. It's not top down, it's not bottom up. It's a blend of pretty much any information you might think is useful. We use it here. And this is the overall record. We have 33,000 bets with a 5.1% ROI. This tracks every single bet that is posted to SharpMoney Signal, which is the system that we built, only available in the alpha package there, which if you did not know, you can sign up for the SharpMoney alpha package, which is $200 a month. You get 5 days for free, and you won't be charged if you sign up and cancel it before 5 days. So I would get on there and check it out. This is what the Signal page, we've been looking at the EV tool, but the Signal page looks like this with all these bets ready to go, which you don't even have to check charts. You don't have to check anything. You see all the books that have the value, and you just go click and bet them, and we do all the logic for you. So this is like as foolproof as it gets in terms of betting, and we're tracking everything. So the question was, though, how should I bet every EV percentage, or should I be selective with what I bet? So the EV percentage that we flag there, like I said, this isn't a traditional top-down method, so it's very difficult to identify true EV percentages. Very easy to find what plays are good, harder to determine the exact percentages. So, this graph right here is our ROI by our EV bucket. And we underestimate almost every single play. Like, if we are flagging, for an example, this is us flagging 2% EV plays. The returns have been, 1% EV play. The returns have been 5%. So if you're playing all of our 1% EV plays, the return would have been 5.4. If you're playing all of our 2% EV plays, your return would be 4%. If you're playing all of our 3% EV plays, your return would be 6. And then you get like some weird data here where if you played all of our 5% EV plays, you would be at a 2.5%. It's kind of weird. But then overall, it's staggered and going upwards. If you see a play at 10%, you better hit it because it was a return of 20%. So every play is returning on average 5%, which is what the overall ROI is. So the EV percentage is just like a base, or like a floor to like the lowest value this thing could possibly be. But a lot of time it outperforms a lot better.
Yeah. Certified said, this is a good channel. I'm glad I'm here, but I win using way different ways. That's one of the best things about sports betting is there's so many ways to find a niche way to win. My first ever words to Closing Dimes were he was on Pickett saying, dang, are you beating FanDuel? I'm losing to them. I'm like, yeah, I'm smoking FanDuel. So then we started conversating, and that's how we all grow as bettors, is we all conversate and we find different ways to find our edge.
Yeah, I mean, perfect place to do that is the SharpMoney Discord, which is 100% free. We got over 5,000 of some very brilliant minds in this space. So if you are someone who you're not sure if you want to pay for a tool, but you want to kind of stay involved in the community, you can join the free SharpMoney Discord and be a part of the community, and be a part of these live streams and chat channels and all that stuff. Amber said, for someone like myself who is struggling with reading the charts and graphs, should I just stick with signal bets? Thank you. So I don't think, if you are struggling with reading the charts, I don't think you should give up on them. I think there is a lot of value in learning, and just because you're struggling with them doesn't mean that you aren't going to learn how to read them. This is a lot of information to throw at someone all at once. Like we've been doing, we talk so fluently about EV plays and line movement charts because I've been doing this for 3 years straight, and this is all I think about and all I do. So don't like just give up on reading like plus EV plays with our strategies if they're complex, because they might sound complex to you now, but things will start clicking and you'll start figuring it out. With that being said, I think Signal is a great tool for anyone that's just kind of wants to be, just blindly betting stuff and not have to really worry about the logic. But I definitely push everyone to do your best and educate yourself as much as possible to feel confident in your plays.
Yeah, Amber, I agree with everything that Robbie just said. It's very important to learn reading the charts. I just want to say props over time, as you become a profitable sports bettor, you end up facing limits. So the big problem here is that after winning so much, once you get limited, the props limits are a lot more harsher than the mainline limits. So for example, I can't get down more than like $100 per signal bet, and I'm up about $1,000 over about 1,000 bets, which is like a 4% ROI. But for example, I'm up a 25% ROI on main lines, which is $4,000, which is in 250 bets. So it just shows you like reading the charts is very important, and taking mainline bets will. It's not your only bread and butter, but it's definitely gonna be a big chunk of it.
It's long term, like bread and butter.
Yeah,
You'll always be able to bet main lines. Like I've been doing this on a P1 account forever. Um,
with a
Football
nice
head
return.
mentioning
What she say?
football head mentioning FanDuel. I'll tell you what, I've been crushing FanDuel. Let's see. Well, this year I'm up 7K on FanDuel this year, 4.7% ROI. Kind of a little down here, but all time. Let's see what FanDuel is. I think I'd actually kind of had not a great year last year. 21K on FanDuel. So 1.6% ROI, kind of small, but we see a little uptick here. But it's really like I burned so much money trying to beat their props without like reading line movement, and that was kind of my downfall, especially on MLB props. Bad.
Yeah, MLB was it was tough sometimes. But no, you have a very good returns for a FanDuel. I'm nowhere near that actually. I'm like
I mean,
0.4%. I just actually started going profitable on them over the last 8 months.
dude, yeah, these are all my sports books
I
for
was
here.
profitable in them, but then I started EV betting, and then I started getting smoked by them, and then that's whenever everybody went through the FanDuel is sharp phase, and then everybody had the big discussion, and then now it's kind of just evened out.
Yeah, so it's so funny that I've gone through this flow of like traditional top down better being like, God damn, you can't beat FanDuel on props. Like they're sharp. That's where they're sharp. You can't beat them. Then we run into like Sigma and Jeff originate their props, and they're finding tons of value on FanDuel and absolutely crushing them. And it's like, okay, they're not that sharp. Here is what makes FanDuel sharp is that originators, like people like myself now, Jeff, Adam, all of our Discord members, when they get an originated play fed to them by MathWins, where do we go first? Do I bet $10 on Fanatics? Do I bet 38 cents on DraftKings? No, I go into FanDuel and max bet it. And so does 25 other members. So when you see FanDuel move and you think they're sharp, in a way they are, because they're getting our information first. That like whatever book gets your information first from the bettors is the sharpest book. And that's why FanDuel often moves before any other book, because they're willing to take hundreds of dollars from semi-sharp bettors, where DraftKings and Fanatics and the score bet won't even take $10 from me. So that's why FanDuel is sharp top down, but you can still beat them bottom up because you're the first one to know what the fair value of that line is.
Well said. Well said.
And yeah, good. I mean, dude, Fliff is crazy though. 12.5% on 3K bets almost.
Dude, it's just people don't even understand like how it was even just a year ago. Like Fliff's edge was so huge. Everybody was crushing Fliff, 30, 40,000. I didn't take advantage of it. I wish I did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Fliff is a lot tougher now to find as many lines.
Chris, how many hours a day do you put in placing bets? Dude, like I don't know, one, 1.5. Some days I like. There's been days where I'll have like 5 bets, or like I'd have no bets recently, just because we've been working on building this business. But dude, I wake up in the morning. Mathwins does his projections into the Discord. If you're in the Alpha plan, he's a handicapper that does NBA props. And if you don't get his lines the second he posts them, or within a minute or two, then they're gone. So like I spend an hour in the morning tailing his bets because he posts them. It takes about an hour for him to get through all of his plays, especially today. I set my alarm for 5:30 a.m. this morning, and I woke up about 5:10 with Discord buzzing at me because he already had like 6
Dude,
plays posted. So I mean, I was up from like 5:10 to 6:30 tailing the bets that he was posting on this 11 NBA game slate. So that's all my like sit down betting besides right now on a live stream. But for the most part, I do all my betting on mobile. I do all my betting before work. And then like just throughout the day, if I have a couple minutes to look at my phone, I look at my phone and play some bets. But
dude, that's so funny you said that because this morning I happened to wake up at like 4:06 or 4:36 or something like that. And because I couldn't sleep, and I checked my phone to see what time it was, and the first thing I say is, Math Win says, "We have a big slate. We're starting early." I'm like, "No."
yeah, dude, he gets up early for these ones.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. Grind it out. I personally am only placing bets for about an hour and a half as well. That's why before Signal was created, we all were so busy in the background. Like in December and November, I wasn't even getting 10 bets a day. I was actually struggling. My motivation was kind of low for betting. But just using Signal makes it so much easier. I put in 1,000 bets in January. I'm almost at 1,000 bets this month. That was my goal to go 1,000 every month. So it definitely makes it easier having these new tools.
Someone called out a total, but I didn't see it. Or it's gone. Oh, Golden State total over 20. Do I have like totals filtered out or something? I don't see it. Anyway, I just know some of you guys probably saw me bet this. I think I already have some money here, but Lakers minus 3.5, really good play. Pinnacle odds been moving down. We see $20,000 Pinnacle limits. We see a small little drop, minus 141 down to minus 145. Just a little bit more confirmation that this market has been moving in the right direction. So I like this here. One thing that's kind of concerning is Circa has the main line at -5. So you're paying an extra 32 cents essentially for a point and a half extra. So I like it. Another thing was Circa does not have this -3.5. It's an alt line, but I can guarantee you they're not taking 20K on it. So I think Pinnacle is the more trustworthy book on this one, and I'm firing here. Oh, Bet Rivers has this total. All right, I'll throw Bet Rivers back on so we can try to talk about totals for a second because I think that's what people want to see.
I don't know why that bet on FanDuel is not showing up for me.
Is it not? All right, so here's the play that we're talking about reading the second chart. So this is an over bet. We want an over. So we see the odds moving lower, which means payouts are decreasing on sharp books, meaning they're paying out less to a winner. So that's a good indicator. This is the good side of the bet. But we want to do is check the main line trend too. We see that the main line was set. You're looking at whole numbers here. These are the -110 lines that the books post. These are the lines that they consider the main line. So I try to find like a spot where they all had the line out. So we can call it this number. So they kind of opened up to 25.5, and now they are sitting at 229. So the market is moving towards the over. That means we want to bet the over. So this is where it gets slightly confusing with totals. First chart, we're looking for odds to drop. Second chart, if we're betting an over, we're looking for the market to be moving towards the over, and that play is gone. So
I was gonna tell you to pause it, but yeah, like he said, you really want them two charts coming together on the right side. That play right there was actually a smash play, probably why it went away so fast. Something I would have taken.
here's another good one right here. Miami Heat -5.5. Decent market trend. Recent movement has been downwards. Overall, opened -5.5. We're sitting at least a -6 now, so a half point towards it. So I'll play this one. I have a $50 max here on Caesars, I think. Jay's gonna be scared to touch this one, but
I don't even have any money left.
it actually moved to 6, so that one's dead anyway. All right, we're coming up on an hour here, so I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I just curious real quick, have you been taking any tennis or no?
Yeah, but like limits are so bad on tennis. I don't get too much money down, so
Yeah.
kind of rough. But hey, certified, check out, if you got more questions and you want more explanations, our YouTube channel has hundreds of hours of content. So, and it looks like you're watching on YouTube. So check out some of the other content that we have about sharp money plus EV betting. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'll be back on streaming Thursday night, probably around 6:30 Eastern time. So I'll see you guys then.
Thank you, Chris. The best corner better come from FanDuel.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
you guys have a good night.
All right, see ya.